What's up, everybody? Welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about making triple time. Triple the amount of income for one design that you create that you might happen to be putting on Redbubble. You might happen to put this design on TeePublic. You might happen to put this, design on, whatever other platform you're using. Maybe even a merch by Amazon. Well, what about? Have you ever thought of actually selling the rights to the design? Have you ever guys done that? Have you ever thought of selling the rights to to the design that you have created? Well, there's a lot of people who watch this YouTube videos, and they're designers and they're creators, and they actually could profit off of selling their actual designs. Now, what do I mean by selling their actual designs? Well, the digital file, the digital product of your actual design. Have you ever thought of doing that? Well, you could make double, triple, quadruple the amount of money doing that, and that's actually an idea. And here's the reason why. On Etsy, there is a significant amount of people searching for different shirt designs and things like that. And you could see here this number that I have, this blue number, right next to every single thing that is searched for. So, for example, if I search for shirt designs here, you could see that has 384 searches on its own. And you could sell your own shirt designs. You could sell them for print on demand. You could sell them for, using any kind of keyword that you use. So, for example, here, I could search here on Etsy, print on demand, and I could see here, print on demand, and we have a bunch of, print on demand, has 104 searches. Here, print on demand t-shirt, 29 searches. We could search for, design for, and then if we type in the word design for, we have design for shirts, for example, 45 searches. Well, we can use these keywords and we can target these specific keywords, selling on Etsy. So, for example, let's say you love tigers and you create a bunch of tiger shirts and you sell them on Redbubble. And let's say you make $100 a month selling on Redbubble. You could go ahead and take those designs and you can make double the income, triple the income. You go to a place like Zazzle, for example. You create those designs on Zazzle. Well, you can quadruple your income, maybe even increase, to whatever level you want, really, selling those designs here on Etsy. Now, of course, it's not as easy as it sounds, and that's why we have to, come into consideration with different ideas. But I'll be honest, it's not the first thing that I considered. When it came down to selling my actual designs, I didn't consider that at first. But then I thought, I actually could do that. I mean, really, if you think about it, out of this whole entire print-on-demand world, I'm not going to be able to walk away with anything. When I say walk away, I mean, when this whole space is over, this internet space, and we're over, all of us are on Internet 3.0, and, maybe, who knows, Internet 2.0 is going to be gone forever, right? If that ends up happening, wouldn't we, as people, in terms of the collective, want to just walk away with the most amount of profit possible? Now, some people, I totally understand. I completely understand. Some people are never going to want to do this. They're never going to want to take their actual designs and sell the rights to other people to be able to sell those designs. Some people are not going to want to do that. But then there are some people who actually do that. Well, there are more places where you could sell your designs. There's a website called Creative Fabrica. I'll just go ahead and pull it up here. Creative Fabrica, where you can actually sell your designs on Creative Fabrica. Your graphics, if you're a designer, if you create fonts, if you create graphics, whatever it is, you can create those designs and sell them on Creative Fabrica. There are other websites similar to Creative Fabrica where you can do the exact same thing. The reason why I thought of this is because, let's be honest, there are some people who are struggling to make as much money as they want selling on a platform like Redbubble, right? But what if, like I said, they could take that actual design and sell it on multiple places? Me personally, I don't see a problem with it. I know some people will have a problem with it, and it's not something that everybody is willing to be doing, right? Not everybody's going to sign up and agree to do this. But who here would do that? Who here would sign up to do that? Me personally, I'll be honest, guys, I don't see a problem with it. Yes, there's other people that are going to use my designs and use it for print on demand and so forth and so on, but who really cares, in my opinion? At least I'm walking away with income. I mean, let's be honest, the people who are the copycatters, if they want to copy anyway, they're going to do it regardless. So why don't I make some money off of that position? Why don't I make some money off of my designs, that it's not just, printing it on an item? What if I make a design that's completely mine, fully mine, and I own all the rights to it, and what if I allow people to have the rights to that design as well? That is kind of a viable idea. I mean, let's be honest, there are people making money doing this. So why can't we be one of those people who make money doing it too? It's a possibility. Now, I've got I already know some people are going to ask me, what's that software that you use to show you like the suggestions on the text that's being shown? So for example, if I type in design here, and you could see here how it says designer dupes, and then it says 1,030 search volume, designer 700 something search volume. The numbers that you're showing here, that is the search volume, is a software that I use called Sales Samurai. I've spoken about this software before. I actually have a discount code. It's called Autopilot Passive Income. Autopilot Passive Income. If you write that all one word in the software, you'll get a discount. And just to show you guys, if you guys are ever interested on any kind of Etsy content, on the website, we already have Etsy content. You go to autopilotpassiveincome.com, you will go over here all the way to the right side, there's a button called Etsy Helper. And at the top, this is the software access, along with some videos in a kind of like a grid format here of certain things that you could use and certain things that you could click on to see different guides on that. And the software is called Sales Samurai. Now, the cool thing about Sales Samurai, like I said, is you get to see the search volume for these specific keywords. So if I'm creating a design, I'm not going to just label it, for example, t-shirt design, right? Because there's very specific things. So, for example, if I created a tiger design, right, I might go over here and type tiger, and then I might see, okay, what are the words that I can use for my design title that I'm going to post on Etsy, for example, when I sell it. And most of the time, of course this is not all the time, but some of the time, you can draw inferences based on what's being searched for on Etsy than on other platforms as well. Obviously, Etsy is a different search engine, and it has its own parameters, it has its own nuances, and it has its own things that make it different. But at the end of the day, Etsy is a microeconomy, and I've spoken about microeconomies before, but I'll just kind of explain what I'm talking about here through this whiteboard. So let me go ahead and just get the whiteboard here, and I'll kind of explain what I am talking about. So the way this is we have Google, right? And so imagine Google as this really big chocolate chip, right? So let's think of it like as a cookie, right? So a chocolate chip here, and you got your little chocolates, and this is the Google chocolate chip. Well, we can have a crumb that comes off of this chocolate chip, and that crumb might be, for example, let's go ahead and go back here. I just made a huge change. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and let's take a little crumb off that chocolate chip that looks like this. So we have a piece that looks like this, right? These are the same pieces here, right? This is the crumb, and we might call this crumb Zazzle, right? And then we have another crumb off of this Google, and we might call it Redbubble, right? So this crumb might look this big, and we might call this one Redbubble, right? And what happens is through research and things like that, we can assume that, let's say the keyword tiger on Google gets 3 million searches a month. Now, I don't think it does, but I'm just assuming that it does, right? I'm just making an assumption. On Redbubble, it might be, or let's just use the word tiger, for example, 3 million searches a month. Before we go over to Redbubble, let's just say the keyword tiger shirt gets 1 million searches a month. Now, once again, this is not the case, but let's just assume that this is it, okay? We know now, based on the word tiger shirt, that it's about 1/3 the size of the word tiger, right? Well, we can draw the same inference to Redbubble. And of course, this is not always the case. This is not 100% true in all circumstances. There are actually some circumstances where this is not the case. However, we can draw an inference that since Redbubble is a micro economy of Google, and it has a search engine, right? A search engine, assuming that certain things take place, we can assume that the word tiger shirt gets less searches on Redbubble than it does on Google. On Google, right? Because it's a smaller search engine. And based on that inference, we can go ahead and sell certain products. So I go ahead and I assume the same things when it comes to Zazzle. There are other marketplaces where you can actually sell your designs on other than just Etsy. I mean, there's more than just Creative Fabrica and Etsy. There are more designs out there, believe it or not. One of the places is referred to as Vexels. A lot of people know about that one. A lot of people have talked about it. A lot of people have promoted it. And there's a whole host of other places. I mean, like I said, the list goes on and on and on of the different places that exist where you as a designer can sell your own designs or the rights to your designs so that you can sell them. The thing that you really want to focus on to be successful is how attractive that design is going to be. That's going to be 100% the most important thing. The reason why is because you have to realize that the person who's going to buy that design has to look at it and say, you know what? I see this design selling. And this is why I'm going to buy this design to invest in it, because this is really an investment. What they're doing is, think of the real estate business. You guys know with the real estate business, there's something called fix and flip, right? And what is a fix and flip? So a fix and flip in real estate is when we find a house on a neighborhood, right? Let's say this is the neighborhood with a bunch of houses, right? And so these little boxes are houses, right? We find one lucky house. It could be one, it could be a few, whatever. One house that's busted up, right? And it's damaged and it's broken down. And because of that, the value of the house is decreased, right? So let's say the house was $1 million and on the neighborhood, because that's what the average house is on the neighborhood. And let's say now the value is worth, let's say, if it was being sold on the market for $350. Well, somebody would buy it for $350, right? And then go and fix it. Let's say they would fix it for $250, right? So they would pay $250, and so they would be in for, let's go ahead and do the math on that. Let's do $350 plus $250, right? And so they would be in $600 total. And then they would list the price at the same price as all the other houses, or maybe even slightly cheaper to get, a faster sale. And they would sell it from $1 million, and they would sell it for, and they paid $600 total, right? Because they had to buy it, they had to fix it, etc. And let's say they're out, in terms of profit, $400K. Now, obviously, it doesn't work that way all the times, and I'm summarizing here, but you kind of get the point. Well, it works the same way with designs. You might buy that design here for, let's just say, a pack of designs or a single design. You might buy it for $2, $3, $1, $1.50, $5, whatever it is, right? You might buy a pack of designs, right, which breaks down the cost. So, for example, you might buy this pack here of funny SVG bundle for $1, and let's say there's 10 of them, right? And that makes each one 10 cents. So we're taking it, that 10-cent design, and we're listing it on other platforms. We might make some slight changes to it. We might leave it the way it is, whatever we're doing. And then we relist it, because that's essentially what real estate is doing as well, is you're relisting the property for more money. And you're relisting it on platforms like Redbubble. You're relisting it on platforms like Zazzle, on TeePublic, whatever. And that product, depending on how you learn how to tag properly and all those things, can get you consistent income flows, right? Consistent income flows without you having to ever really design. So if that's something that you're interested in, there is a market for that, and it is a possibility. Now, there's some things that you want to pay attention to. So one of the things you already probably are aware of is how attractive a design is going to be. You have to buy a design, or if this is something you want to jump into, either as a seller or even as a buyer, the designs have to be attractive from both ends, whether it's the buyer's perspective or the seller's perspective, right? And when I say the seller, who are we talking about? We're talking about the person who's actually selling on these marketplaces where they're selling the designs. The buyer has to find the designs attractive. We already spoken about this whole arena here. Well, what else can we talk about? We could also talk about the cost analysis. Sometimes a design might be super attractive, but it just might be simply way too overpriced. So, for example, a design might be $40 for a design, right? And by the way, these designs do exist, so be aware of this. There might be a design for $40. Well, in that case, it might not be financially profitable to go after a design that's $40 in worth or in value. Then there might be a design that also, let's say a pack of designs might be $20. Well, now we've decreased the cost, but we also have to give a value to our skills, and this is where skills come in. So if you're going to be the buyer and you're actually going to buy these designs, then there's some skills that you're going to have to acquire. And some people look at this as being unfortunate, but I don't look at it that way. I look at it like if you can increase your skills, then you actually can improve your income, because at the end of the day, anybody who acquires a skill that a lot of people may or may not have, or may not have, then you actually can improve your income. Well, what are the skills that you're actually going to need if you decide to jump on a method like this or a strategy like this? Well, for one, you're going to have a deep understanding of the platform that you're selling on as a buyer. So let's just say you buy these designs and you decide to sell them on Redbubble or TeePublic. Well, you have to have a deep understanding of that platform's algorithm, right? You want to know how they tag, how they, how to get ranked, how to do whatever. And sometimes that could take a period of months to weeks to years. I mean, it just depends on who you are and how you learn and how you're actually acquiring your information. So I'll give you an example, guys. There is on our website, the Autopilot Passive Income Redbubble tagging course. So let's just go ahead and pull this up. The tagging course information was things that it took me a while to learn, but I had to sit down for a period of time and learn this, right? There are some other places that, you can essentially buy the same information that I've learned, right? And a good example of this is the course that you're seeing in front of you. So you can actually fast track your success, right? By, let's say, for example, purchasing a course. Now, not all courses are created equal. Not all books are created equal. Not all mentors are created equal. And typically, more expensive doesn't mean necessarily better. So you might have a course that's, $5,000, and you might have a course that's $9.99. You might have a course that's free. All courses are different. I think it just depends. I'll give you a perfect example of this is the Shopify community. When you're getting into Shopify, and I'll just kind of write Shopify here. For those who don't know what Shopify is when you create your website and you create a store. Shopify is one of the most well-known softwares to do that with. But for example, in the Shopify community, if you just type in the word Shopify course on Google, you're going to come up with millions of different people that have courses, millions and millions. But some course providers, you could find everything on Google for free. There's other people where they actually give you some legitimate information. It just depends on who you are and what you like and what you prefer. It's just different. And so some people will never get a course, but they like to read books, and books are a great place. And so if the platform that you're deciding to sell on has books and offer, people provide books in that kind of area, you can fast track your success. So you want to ask yourself, how long is it going to take for me to learn how that platform works, right? How long is it going to take for me to learn how I can actually sell on that platform? And then what I would recommend you guys do, even if you don't have the ability to design that well, is take a chance and start listing your own designs for free in the beginning, because you really can't prove your concept unless you really get to listing some designs first. And unless you're getting some sales and some traffic, you have no proof of concept. And a lot of people, what they want to do is they want to jump in head first. They want to go in and buy all the designs they possibly can before listing anything. So you're going to need, number one, commitment. You're going to have to promise yourself that you're going to be able to commit to this game, right? That you're going to buy the products, you're going to upload them, you're going to work on them, you're going to essentially garner this skill of essentially working on this project. Number two is, and I already mentioned this, but the skill. Okay, so what are you going to offer? Now, that's in terms if you're a buyer, but if you're a seller, then you're going to want to learn, okay, what are all the platforms? And we already mentioned a few of them already, of where I can sell my designs, right? Number two is, how can I increase my income? So there are different ways that you can increase your income when you're actually selling these designs by, something is very, very simple, is leaving your email in every single one of the files of the designs that you sell, like something like this, and say, hey, if you need something custom, let me know. That's an easy way to get some upsells, right? That's an example, right? So we have the platform, increasing your income, and number 3, your design skill. So either way, whether you become a seller or whether you become a buyer of these designs, it's going to come down to skills regardless, right? For one person, it's going to be the skill of the design, right? For another person, it's going to be the skill of the listing, right? So you have to acquire those skills. But either way, there's going to be skills that are needed. So it's not going to be, a skill-free money-making method. There are very, very, very rare opportunities out here in the world where you can actually have no skills and make money. It's very, very rare. And that's why I always say, if there's one thing that you could do, self-development is the most important thing, because then self-development is not just therapy or sitting with a psychologist and talking about how you motivate yourself. Self-development could be something as basic as reading a book, right? Self-development could be something as basic as, taking a college course, and I know some people hate college and they hate university and all these things, but there is something to be said for acquiring more knowledge, right? And so there's just different ideas in that and different schools of thought. But I just figured I'd make this video to show that there is a world out there where you can make money selling your own designs. Not the print-on-demand aspect, but your actual digital files. Tell me if you guys are already doing this. I'm actually very, very curious to see. And more importantly, if you are doing it, would you go back and ever change your decision to do it or not to do it? Because there are some people who, let's say they've invested time and effort into Redbubble, for example, would go back and say, you know what, I wouldn't invest any time into Redbubble ever again. Some people would say, yep, I'd do it all over, no problem. So I'm curious, for the people that actually do this and sell your own designs, I'll tell you, I already sold a few of them. I don't have all of them listed, because that's going to be very hard to do in a short period of time. I don't have all of them listed, but I actually have a system that I'm doing now. So after every time I make one sale, I'm listing 40. Because if you guys don't know about Etsy, you have actually a fee associated with listing products. You have a 20-cent listing fee. And I know there's a way to waive that fee by doing the thing yourself, the manual. I'm not going to be doing that. I'd rather just pay the fee. But I do 40, and every single time I sell something, I upload 40 more. And I have this little system. But I'm curious to what you guys do. You guys let me know. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Bye.